Hello everyone, this is Maria, speech language pathologist, and I work as an assistant professor in Madras ENT Research Foundation Institute of Speech and Hearing. And I am here to present about macrolinguistic and microlinguistic performance in individuals with Parkinson's disease, a comparison based on post-onset duration. So, moving on to the introduction and knowing about what is Parkinson's disease, as you all know, Parkinson's disease is a progressive nervous system disorder that affects movement. Basically, it is a neurodegenerative disorder. And the symptoms start gradually, sometimes starting with a barely noticeable tremor in just one hand. And tremors are more common, but the disorder also commonly causes stiffness and slowing of movement. Knowing about the causes of Parkinson's, it is the dopamine system which is responsible for Parkinson's disease. The dopamine system is controlled by two areas: the substantia nigra and the ventral tegmental area, as you can see in this picture. So the VTC also produces dopamine and releases it into the frontal lobe, which is important for motor executive function. The VTC dopamine pathway may also play a role in Parkinson's disease. The substantia nigra manufacture and releases dopamine into the striatum. Dopamine reduces the influence of the indirect pathway and increases the actions of the direct pathway within the basal ganglia and plays a critical role in controlling movement. A reduction in dopamine levels has a direct effect on a person's ability to execute smooth, controlled movements and on the indirect and direct pathways. So you can see the difference between a normal neuron and an Parkinson's affected neuron and the release, the dopamine, the difference in the dopamine release in these two types of neurons. When you look into the normal neuron, you can see that there is more amount of dopamine getting released in like for a normal movement to happen when compared to a Parkinson's affected neuron. There is only a less number of dopamine, less amount of dopamine which is getting released at the neuronal ends. So this disrupts the movement. So there are various stages in Parkinson's disease. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 1 and 2 are considered the early Parkinson's stage, which is also considered as a mild stage. In stage 1, the symptoms of PD are mild and only seen on one side of the body, that is unilateral involvement. The symptoms include tremor of one hand, rigidity, clumsy leg. One side of the face may be affected, impacting the expression, facial expressions. The stage 2 also falls under a mild category. The symptoms of Parkinson's disease on both sides of the body, that is, it has a bilateral involvement, or at the midline. The symptoms include loss of facial expression on both sides, decreased blinking, eye blinking, speech abnormalities tend to occur, rigidity of the muscles in the trunk. Stage 3, which is considered as the mid-stage Parkinson's disease, it is a moderate level. Symptoms of Parkinson's disease are characterized by loss of balance and slowness of movement, and the symptoms include balance is compromised, inability to make the rapid, automatic, and involuntary adjustments. All other symptoms of Parkinson's disease are present at this stage. The stage 4 and 5 are termed the advanced stages, where both the severity falls under severe category. In stage 4, it involves severe disabling conditions. The patients may be able to walk and stand unassisted, but they are noticeably incapacitated. Patient is unable to live an independent life and needs assistance. In stage 5, the symptoms of PD are severe and are characterized by an inability to raise. Patients fall when standing or turning, may freeze or stumble when walking. Hallucinations and delusions may be a major complaint. So, as a speech language pathologist, our major concern is to rule out the speech and language characteristics in such clients. So, Parkinson's disease is most often associated with hypokinetic dysarthria. Voice abnormalities tend to be the first indication of dysarthria, followed by articulation and fluency abnormalities. vocal fold bowing, as well as incomplete vocal fold closure during phonation have been observed in laryngeal mechanism. And they also have imprecise consonant production. Patients with Parkinson's disease often present with a complex impairment of speech, commonly known as dysarthrophonia, which is a combination of voice and speech problem. They also have reduced volume, which is a prominent clinical feature of the disease. Speech rates are vary widely in persons with Parkinson's disease. Disfluency occurs in approximately 15 to 45% of persons with PD, typically at the beginning of utterance or after a pause. The disfluency is typically mild in severity and is characterized by rapid, blurred phoneme repetitions. What are the perceptual features that we could see? They have prominent deviant perceptual characteristic, which includes mono pitch, that is, they don't have uh, like an ups and down in their frequency or vocal frequencies, mono loudness, reduced overall loudness, short rushes of speech, short phrases, variable rate, overall increased rate, inappropriate silences or pauses, repeated phonemes, reduced stress, and imprecise consonants. What are the language characteristics which are seen in these clients? Individuals with PD have difficulty in processing and comprehension of complex grammar and syntax. No significant language production deficit was reported. Reductions in the amount of degree of informational content of language production in Parkinson's disease have been found in several studies. So, action word deficits were reported by several studies in individuals with Parkinson's disease. Individuals with Parkinson's disease have increased pause time. And what do we do when a client comes in for a speech and language assessment with a concern? The general assessment of Parkinson's disease include a detailed case history, a formal speech and language assessment with Francis Dysarthria assessment, which includes all the subsystems of speech, which include respiration, laryngeal, soft palate, and all the subsystems. It includes all the subsystems of speech. And Parkinson's disease questionnaire 39, which includes 39 questions, which is related to their everyday life like activities, which mean like in which they face problems, and it is a 5 point rating scale. It includes a 5 point rating scale. So this is a normal assessment procedure which is carried out by an SLP. How about the management aspects in a client with Parkinson's disease? It is first the pharmacological aspect, which includes the levodopa injection, or the surgical management, which includes deep brain stem stimulation, behavioral or speech management, which includes speech cueing, respiratory treatment and postural control to increase the breath support. Exaggerated articulation and rate reduction technique has been used to improve the intelligibility. We provide them with oromotor exercises within speech task, breathing, resonance, and prosody. Lee Silverman voice technique is widely used voice technique to improve the respiratory phonatory effort in such clients, and we also go for AAC, that is augmentative and alternative communication. So moving on to the main focus of this presentation, which is the discourse, which is not like mostly concentrated in clients with Parkinson's disease, because as an SLP, most of us just focus on the speech aspect or the motor aspect in the client. What is a discourse? A complex system of cognitive and linguistic processes which underlies the everyday use of language is called as discourse. Language can be viewed and analyzed on many levels, one of which is language in use or the discourse. A discourse analysis or discourse studies understood over analysis of language in its comprehensive sense, which is including face-to-face talk, non-verbal interactions, images, symbols, and documents. Is a general term for various methods to analyzing written, spoken, or signed language use. It is typically measured using two factors such as macrostructure and microstructure of the discourse. So now moving on in knowing about macro and microstructure analysis. The macrostructure level includes exploring the ability to make an initiating event, the internal response to achieve the goal, that is, an attempt and cause, and the reaction to the conversation or to the topic. It appraises speakers' skill to impart the central idea of the story and synthesize its core by stating the moral of the story if in case we analyze a narrative discourse. And this paper is also focusing on analyzing the narrative discourse in such clients. Macrostructures are global meanings of discourse, typically well defined in terms of topic, the gist which is conveyed by the person, or the upshoot. Semantic macrostructures or topics define what is termed the global coherence of discourse. The microstructure level discourse investigates fine-grained features of narrative elements comprising referential cohesion, lexical diversity, that is how well they are able to use a variety of vocabulary, and sentence structure. Microstructures are the local structures of words, clauses, sentences, or turns in conversation. Macrostructures may be derived from microstructures by acts such as abstracting, which is leaving out or to the point specific details. In other words, microstructures are the actually and directly expressed structures of the discourse. It refers to measures of productivity and complexity at the sentence level. So now moving on to know about the relationship between Parkinson's and discourse, various studies have been done in this direction, a few of which are: first one was done by Charles Ellis et al. In 2015. He observed cohesive adequacy as individuals with Parkinson's disease produced a higher percentage of incomplete and erroneous cohesive ties relative to the control subjects across natives. That is, he found that they had an inadequate cohesive device which ties up their utterances. So then Amulya et al. In 2015, it is an Indianized study. They investigated the micro and macrostructure discourse analysis by using a picture elicited narrative discourse task in Kannada speaking person with idiopathic PD. The results revealed that there was a significant difference between the two groups on several of the macro and microstructure measures. Specifically, there was significant difference on ARP, PCW, that is proportion of content word, proportion of functional words, new words, and type token ratio. Based on the results, it was concluded that the micro and certain aspects of the macrostructure discourse skills of Kannada speakers with idiopathic PD were affected. Thus, in addition to speech impairment, language structure is also affected in person with PD. Then in 2016, Madhu Sudarshan Reddy et al. They investigated narrative discourse skills in terms of quantity, syntactic aspects, and informativeness of output in Kannada speaking person with idiopathic PD. The results revealed that there was a significant difference between the two groups on most of the communication units, such as the number of syntactic units, mean length of utterance, percentage of simple and compound sentences, percentage of correct informative units and informative utterances, but not for the total number of words, percentage of grammatical words, and complex sentences. So moving on to the present study, what was the need for us to know about how does the onset duration have an effect on discourse abilities in such clients? There is a dearth of study focusing on discourse abilities in Parkinson's disease, and there are limited studies focusing on comparing the discourse abilities, comparing post-onset duration. So our aim was to compare the macro-linguistic and micro-linguistic performance in individuals with Parkinson's disease based on duration after onset. And the objective of the study was to document the discourse abilities using narrative tasks in individuals with Parkinson's disease, to document the changes in discourse production in individuals with various post-onset duration. So in this study, a total of 4 Tamil-speaking participants between the age ranges 60 to 70 years participated in the study, out of which were individuals diagnosed with Parkinson's disease and one was the mean age matched normal individual. The individuals with Parkinson's had varying post onset duration of 1 year, 4 years, and 10 years. MMSE was administered to document the cognitive performance of the individuals, and the task was a personal narrative task which involved narrating about unforgettable experience which was given to all the subjects and no time limit was imposed. The samples were audio recorded, orthographically transcribed and analyzed under subdomains of macro and micro linguistics. And these are the subdomains which were included under the macro and micro linguistic: discourse structure under macro structure domain, coherence, topic management, information adequacy, and repair strategy. Under microstructure, we had documented the total number of words, the total number of different words, total number of content words, the total number of functional words, number of bound morphemes, free morphemes, and the total number of morphemes. A complex structure per utterance, relevant pieces per utterances, total number of mental state words which were used by the individuals, mazes per utterances, number of pronouns, number of ambiguous pronouns, and the cohesion percentage. So these were the results obtained after the analysis. When you see this, the normals and an individual with a post-onset duration of 1 year matched their performance at the macrostructural discourse. As the post-onset duration increases, there is a steady decline in the performance in macrostructural discourse. So when you compare this microstructural discourse, you can see that all the three groups perform poorer than the normal individual. So when the and there was a nonsense word, there were more number of nonsense words when the onset duration increased. The present study reveals that certain aspects of macrostructure and microstructure are affected in persons with Parkinson's disease. Thus, it can be concluded that in addition to speech impairment, language structure is also affected in person with PD. It is also evident that the discourse abilities is poorer in the individual with 10 years post-onset compared to 1 year post-onset. The macrostructure is documented to be normal in the individual with 1 year post-onset compared to the other two individuals with 4 years and 10 years post-onset. There is an evident decline both in macro and micro linguistic aspect in the individual with 10 years post-onset. So as a final thought, it is important to focus on even the language aspects along with the motor speech aspect during the assessment and intervention in cases of neurodegenerative conditions such as Parkinson's disease. And intervening at the level of discourse is an important aspect as it enhances the quality of life of such person. So these are the references which I had gone through, and that's the end of my presentation. Thank you.